Mr. STICKERMANIA from Louisville, Kentucky, with Sticker granddaughter and my son behind the camera for our next, as Rachel says, a barn burner live stream. A few notes and I'll get into what I was talking about. I had a Lady Madonna picture saved. I don't know what happened to that. First, today, early happy Mother's Day. Worked at the grocery store tonight. Had an incident with Mother's Day. Saw two gentlemen come in, loaded their cart up full of 1999 single roses in a box that are supposed to last forever. So they were on my radar. And they just kept darting around the store. Then one of them finally came up and put the roses back, but still had a handbasket full of $100 of items to make spaghetti with. And I saw them over by the produce area just kind of hiding. So I walked over to the deli service case to tell him that about the situation, and then he started darting for the door. And I might be 70 years old, but I'm pretty quick. I got him before he got to the second outer door, and I just snatched the basket from him. I said, "No, you're not." So that was a lovely little incident I had, but I made it through it. All right, so happy early Mother's Day. My mom's not with us anymore, but I wished her Mother's Day last year. She didn't know who I was the last couple years. All right, getting into first generation Beatle fans. People keep replying on my YouTube videos that when we're gone, the Beatles legend is going to die off. And I just don't believe that at all. I believe the middle and younger generations keep discovering the Beatles, and the legend will continue for who knows how long. Another thing about Tom Port. Got a message from Tom Port today. I need my sticky fingers. It's over here.
Do the comments while he's looking for the sticky.
Beetle Hair said, "Are you going to list the Velvet Underground 45 on Verve that you showed last live stream? Thanks."
It's got a I thought I brought it in here. It's in I must not. Yeah, I can, it's got a warp to it, and it doesn't play too well, but if you're interested in it for $100, I will put it up there for $100. I got permission to sell it from Kevin at Kevin Records. Let me know in the comments.
And then Kara WD said, "Frank, good for you. Stop the idiots."
Yep, I got applause from the front end, a couple people in line, and one guy said if he knew that was going to happen, he would have tripped him. But when something happens like that, you only have a matter of seconds to stop the situation, and I've got the experience to know how to handle it. The videos and everything don't stop stuff like that. You got to stop it when it's happening. All right, Tom Port. He bought a sticky fingers from me 2 days ago. And on my short video about the best audiophile pressing of the world that exists, the Germany sticky fingers, this is a USA sticky fingers, somebody replied saying, "That's just absurd. The Rolling Stones never made a audiophile album." Said that they weren't that good of a band. And I just replied, and I said, "You haven't listened to Sticky Fingers then. Sticky Fingers is about the pinnacle of the Rolling Stones." But anyway, Tom Port messaged me today and said, "We'll buy all the quiet, clean copies you can get of Sticky Fingers." That's how high the demand is for Better Records, selling the white hot stampers of Sticky Fingers. So this is a PR pressing. I got to test play it for Tom Port tomorrow. It's original 1971 pressing. See if Wild Horses and Moonlight Mile if they all play quiet. If they do, he says he'll buy it in a second. So anyway, so that's my argument for Sticky Fingers. It is an audiophile pressing. It's just maybe not equivalent to an Abbey Road or something like that. All right. Picture, well, most of my notes.
Novus Nick said, "Hi Frank."
How you doing, Novus Nick?
And then Novus Nick also said, "Just got here. What's the Stones LP condition? Where?"
That Stone Sticky Fingers is an excellent, hardly played condition, but I have to test play it again tomorrow to make sure all the quiet tracks play quiet, because that's the most important thing when Tom Port sells on better records. Wild Horses and Moonlight Mile and I Got the Blues all have to play quiet. Because that's where, when you have wear on an album, it shows up the most on the quiet sections like Led Zeppelin 2.
He said made where?
The what?
Made where? Or was it made?
That's a USA I just showed, but the Germany pressing is the one by Doug Sachs, is the one that I sell for the most. Talking about an audiophile pressing I sold today. This is a little bit out of the Beatles range, but it's still right flat in it.
Well, that goes with the KRWD comment. Read the KRWD comment.
KRWD said, "Frank, I'm interested in the Badfinger. Did you sell it?"
It's sold already to Gary, who's bought a lot of audiophile pressings from me. This is a UK with a laminated cover, 1970. What I looked up, 1972 February from the United Kingdom. Sold after being up there for about 12 hours. Sold for $188 today. It's got a 1U Porky Pecco in the dead wax. The ultimate way to hear no matter what, and Baby Blue. We saw Joey, how do you say his last name? Malone, at the Fest for Beatle fans in Chicago last summer, August. He did a great job on the 4 Badfinger songs that he performed. He gave it all he had, all of his 120 pounds, he gave all he had. He played with the group, the Liverpool, and they were really good.
Moon Beamski said hi. Woofy Babies said, "Hi Frank, sticker team." And KRWD said, "Oh darn, Gary's not allowed to have it."
Well, it was up there for 12 hours.
And then Novus Nick said, "Sorry, I have to go. I'll watch back."
All right, Novus Nick, thanks for checking in. You're one of our first viewers we had from the very first live stream we did. All right, some other notes. Gary got the Abbey Road first press 1969, -2, -1 today, and he test played it, and he said I was right on. You never heard Abbey Road sound quite like that before. Some reason that never translated to the USA pressings of Abbey Road. They were cut in England, freshly cut from the master tapes of Abbey Road Studios, and they're so much better sounding in the UK pressings than the USA. All right, let it be. My Let It Be Laserdisc sold today.
Oh yeah.
$144. We seem to be in a big Let It Be is at its peak now in interest. All the Beatle fans, because the Let It Be movie shown on Disney Plus. Did you like it? The Let It Be movie on Disney Plus? Have you all watched it?
I did.
So you notice in one of my short videos, I played a little bit of the end there where Paul McCartney's doing the little scat vocal. That's an outtake of Get Back. Let's see, it's on my notes.
Go ahead, say it real quick.
Moonbeam Skies said, I hope they release Let It Be on DVD.
Yeah, they will. They'll release it if they already got it in HD and 4K, it'll be released on Blu-ray for sure. Hopefully they'll put some extras in there, but we'll see. But I know the Let It Be movie inside and out from VHS and Laserdisc, but what they did on what Peter Jackson did on Disney Plus was definitely an improvement.
Do that real quick with the Danny Goldstein.
Danny Goldstein said, is that
Led
a Led Zeppelin reel to reel?
Save them that, baby, or you want to see it. One of the most expensive reel-to-reels that exist in the world. One of the top 5. House of the Holy on stereo tape. You can only get this by belonging to the Columbia House Tape Club. It wasn't available in stores with that blue label. That's close to a $1,000 reel-to-reel.
And then Moonbeam Skies said, awesome. And then Danny Goldstein said, yes, I thought I saw that.
Yep, this is behind Ziggy Stardust and Exile on Main Street as far as value and rumors, but it's up in the top 5. And Led Zeppelin 4 is also on stereo tape. I've had it a couple times with the blue label. The old went way to hear Led Zeppelin 4, but this one sounds pretty amazing also. I'm glad you observed that. I was saving that for about halfway through. Got a comment on one of my videos about somebody was getting on my case saying that he could tell I was just a memorabilia dealer and not a collector. He said he was 70 years old, and I said, that's kind of funny because I'm 70 years old also. I told him I was a collector for 40 years until I started selling on eBay 16 years ago. And now I just buy and sell and own the best Beatles memorabilia and Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin that I can find. And I own it for a while. But he said when times were tough, when COVID first started, he lived in Nashville. He said his relatives were getting on his case that he needed to sell some of his Beatles memorabilia to pay for, just to get food and stuff. So he put an ad in Craigslist like 5 years ago in Nashville. And he said, well, I sold to this gentleman that came from Kentucky the Beatles EP box set and the promo display for the Wedding album by John Lennon and Yoko Ono, When Times Were Tough. And I go, that's strange because I am the gentleman that came down from Kentucky and bought it. He also sold me some of the 7-inch picture discs that were on his wall. I think I bought about 4 of them. But anyway, that was so weird that he got on my case for not being a collector, and I'm the one that drove 3 hours down there to look at his collection. But I don't go to Nashville and Indianapolis and Cincinnati anymore to buy Beatles memorabilia. I just buy it on the internet. It's too risky at my age at 70 years old. I remember going to Nashville to get a couple collections. I bought a Sgt. Pepper, the Mo-Fi that's in the black box, not going to come up with the right name, and I bought the Pink Floyd also in the black box. Okay. But anyway, one time I had a close call, and that's when I learned my lesson. It wasn't worth traveling that far to look at memorabilia. So now I just search the internet, and that's how I do it.
Danny Goldstein said, what is the condition? Have you played it? I guess you have.
The Badfinger?
No, the reel-to-reel.
Reel-to-reel. Just got it today. Have not played it. We did some remodeling here, and we got to move my reel-to-reel, get it hooked up again, but I'll listen to it probably on Monday. Got to work all day again tomorrow on Mother's Day.
Ninox 111 said, how do you clean your records?
How do I clean my records? I don't have one of those professional cleaners. I don't have an ultrasonic. I got some cleaning equipment, but I'm not up to the par that Tom Port and Mike from the In Group are.
Alright, go next one.
KRWD said, just think at one time you could use those reel-to-reels when you joined the Columbia Record Club for a penny.
You get those reel-to-reels.
Yeah, those are the ones that are worth the most, are the reel-to-reels. The factory pre-recorded reel-to-reels were only available through Columbia Record Club, or Tape Club. The Columbia House Tape Club.
Danny Goldstein goes with that same.
I've sold 2 of the Exile on Main Street that were on that stereo tape with the blue label. I sold 2 of them for $1,200 a piece.
Danny Goldstein said it was like 12 for a penny. Crazy. 7.
Yeah, but not on the reel-to-reel tapes.
7.5 eye piece.
Yeah, it's at 7.5 inches per second. I'll show this one more time. There seems to be a lot of interest in this. 7.5 inches per second, tightly wound. Looks like it was only played a few times.
Wolfie Baby asked, what does that black MFSL Beatle box go for?
The black, it's not as high as it used to be. You can get them for under $1,000 now because it's not an audiophile pressing box set. I want to talk about an audiophile pressing box set. This is a lot better than the MoFi, the black box. The Beatles from Liverpool box set from England, 1981, all with Harry T. Moss in the dead wax on all 8 albums. Got this thanks to me, Mr. Mayo. He did a short video of this showing this at the Infinity Records in New Jersey. And I asked Joe Mayo how much it was, and he says $250. Wow! And then I'm on the list of their regulars that they sell online to, and the store owner Bazooka Joe sent me a message. He'd sell it to me for $200. So I called up, and Corey answered the phone, and we made a deal, and I got it in 2 days.
Ooh. Ooh la la.
This is the way that, Wolfie Baby, if you want to hear the Beatles and the pure stereo bliss, this is it. Notice on record 2, they aren't inverted on this one. So they corrected it. Paul's playing left-handed and John Lennon's playing right-handed. That last one I had, I sold, the picture was inverted.
Do them 2 real quick.
Danny Goldstein said that must sound incredible.
This is ranks right up there with the top pressings in the world. The Baby You're a Rich Man, the So Good on Magical Mystery Tour, they use the same mix on the on this box set. And Andrew from Polygram Auctions says the Strawberry Fields on this box set he thinks is the best sounding mix anywhere of any pressing.
KRWD said that Liverpool box is good. Parlogram rates it very high. I was
That's what I
able
just
to
said.
buy a set from Disc Unit in Japan.
Well, he said that before you said it.
Gotcha.
But you was talking.
Sorry. All right, that's most of my notes. The only thing is a couple of people have been interviewed on YouTube, like Sting from The Police and Bruce Springsteen and a few people, and they said that when they heard I Want to Hold Your Hand in early 1964, and when they played it on Ed Sullivan, it changed their whole being as far as being interested in music and where they had to carry on, what they had to do. The Beatles raised the bar. It was like I Want to Hold Your Hand came from a different planet. We had never heard a song like that before. I Want to Hold Your Hand was played in the United States.
I do will be big.
No.
Yes.
Are all the from Liverpool boxes Harry T. Most copies?
The UK is I don't know about the Japan. George Borden thinks that Japan's a great sounding, but in my ears, the English that's just freshly cut from Harry T. Moss in the late 1970s. He did every song on that box set, and that's what I think you need to get is the UK pressing. There's a UK pressing, there's a Columbia pressing that's a little cheaper, and there's a Japan pressing of that box set.
Moonbeam Skies said, have you heard the Beatles' White Album with the US mix that George Harrison rejected?
No, somebody sent me a message the other day. They're interested in buying one. I said, well, the price on it now. He said somebody had one up for $2,000, and I said, well, Perry Cox sold one for close to $1,500 just 2 weeks ago. There can't be, and Noble Records also has one of those. There can't be more than about 10 to 20 of those in the world with the compressed mix before George Harrison went and straightened it out. All the mixes on the White Album from the United States after that mistake were the George Harrison mix that was pressed from 68 all the way to 1980. All those were the George Harrison mix on the White Album in the United States. He went to Capitol Records and he did it himself. All right, let's talk about this and then we'll clear this table off. Just got this in today. The collector had these all in a box, and I got this on eBay. And had all these amazing picture sleeves on the table from the USA, all originals, and most of them have the records. Got I Want to Hold Your Hand, which I just talked about. You got Hard Day's Night. You got the rare one for I'll Cry Instead. I just sold this for $129 today. That's a hard one to find in decent shape. It shows ring wear real easy on that red sleeve. So that one's sold. And we got If I Fail in real nice shape. I think I have that up for $88. We got Slow Down with Matchbox. These are all came out of that same box. I Feel Fine. 8 days a week. Help. These are all mostly East Coast straight cut picture sleeves. I think these are all East Coast. That's got a price stamp of 77 cents on it. What I think is one of the greatest double-sided single. We Can Work It Out in Day Tripper. Every time I hear Day Tripper on a music system in the store, it's just amazing, the Day Tripper song. Nowhere Man. All You Need Is Love.
Is that true?
My Lady Madonna picture sleeve went somewhere. I guess I'll stumble across it. Ballad of John and Yoko. This is another sleeve. It's worth a lot of money. I think this is up for on my eBay store for like $170 because it doesn't have any from that ridges on the record. It doesn't have any of that wear. They put those ridges around the label so when people stacked them up on a 45 player, it wouldn't stick to the record above it. Let It Be and Long and Winding Road. I got a real nice Long and Winding Road, but I don't think I brought it with me today. And that's not all was in that box. We got a lot of Rolling Stones, Yardbirds, and Monkeys were in that box.
The store guy said something.
Let's see.
Chris W. said, I'm in Chicago, sticker fam. See you guys Tuesday.
Tuesday, Chicago.
Oh,
Oh,
Chris is in Chicago, the floor guy.
oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, you had a replacement that did the floor tonight. Time Is on My Side. That's a tough one to get in nice shape. That white sleeve. Another one real tough to get is The Last Time, that blue sleeve shows rub wear real easy. I think that's up for $88 on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. Get Off My Cloud, that was a #1 song. I don't have a Satisfaction picture sleeve at the moment. As Tears Go By, the song that Marianne Faithfull, Mick Jagger's ex-girlfriend, covered the song. 19th Nervous Breakdown. A lot of picture sleeves. These Rolling Stones picture sleeves are just finally starting to catch up with the value of the Beatles picture sleeves. They're realizing now it's real tough to find these 1960s in real nice shape. Mother's Little Helper with Lady Jane. That was a double-sided single. Paint It Black. The great psychedelic She's a Rainbow. And I showed this the last one. The Honky Tonk Women with You Can't Always Get What You Want. What a great double-sided single. And then we got Paperback Writer, came out first. And then a few months later, Last Train to Clarksville came out. And you know, I told you about the resemblance, the beat. If you listen to these two songs in a row, you can tell our Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart really took the riff, the essence of Paperback Writer, and they made a #1 song with Last Train to Clarksville. That's a black and white of the Monkees. It's real tough to get in nice shape. They made a color version of this picture sleeve too, but the black and white is the one that's got the most value. And then we get into the Yardbirds. You got the first one, Heart Full of Soul. And when this became a big hit, Eric Clapton didn't want anything more to do with the Yardbirds because he didn't want to, he was mostly about the blues, and he didn't want to sell out just to get a hit single, so he quit. That's a young Eric Clapton. He quit after this song was recorded. We got Over, Under, Sideways, Down, and the last one, Happening 10 Years Ago. It's got a 77 price sticker. And who is this young man right here on the left side? I think it's Jimmy Page, and you got Jeff Beck there. All right, that's a pretty amazing picture sleeve collection that I got a hold of.
Everyone, like, subscribe, and hit the notification link. Please give a like.
Yeah, we our percentage, we're getting like 10 new subscribers a day, and we're up to 1522. But our percentage, because I have so many new viewers, just keeps going down. I'm down to 32% of you are subscribed that watch my videos. I'd be to 2,000 real quick if a lot of you subscribe, and then I would give away a butcher cover when I get to 2,000.
Do y'all want a giveaway?
The stereo Third State.
So the moonbeam was about those.
Moons, Beam Skies said great stuff.
Talking about the 45s.
I'd say that 45 picture sleeve collection is pretty amazing. But let's top it off with one more. You probably see it already in my whites. You already know the answer. But what is the most valuable solo Beatles picture sleeve there is besides the George Harrison "Love Comes to Everyone"?
It's me.
Do the Brad before. Give him a second to answer. See if they can answer. But do the Brad comment real quick.
Brad Parnell said, has there ever been a biopic of, is that how it's said? Biopic of Badfinger? I think their story was a great movie. Sad, of course, but very moving. There's been some 90-minute documentary where Joey Malone did most of the interview, and also the drummer, I'm not going to come, he's no longer with us, but he was in a lot of it too. The drummer here, of course they don't have the names here. What was the drummer's name in Badfinger?
Him and did the KRWD. He tried to answer what he was talking about.
Is that a sharp picture? Is that a sharp cover or what? It's flimsy, but boy, that beats the USA cover to death. What a great album this is. This ranks up almost as good as any solo Beatles album, I'd say.
Alright, do the KRWD.
KRWD said Let It Be sleep.
Nope.
And then Brad Parnell said Mike Gibbons.
Mike Gibbons, thanks a lot. That's the answer. Here we go. Here's a rare picture sleeve from the solo Beatles. It didn't sell very much. John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, Mother. It's about a $200 picture sleeve. That's in excellent condition with no ring wear.
KRWD was talking about the bad finger when on his comment. So say the comment for KRWD.
Looks like that photo was just taken.
Talking about the bad finger.
Oh, the bad finger?
Mm-hmm.
I know. That's one of the most amazing album covers I've ever had in my hands. Besides the Abbey Road first press. Just amazing. No wonder Gary bought this right away. $188.
Your special appearance is not making an appearance.
Got this in today. A first press, factory sealed, 1973. From the USA, Ringo. The last time the four Beatles were on one album. And this is a first press because the second song says, Hold On, instead of Have You Seen My Baby? First press, 1973, factory sealed from corner to corner with 4 square corners.
Oh, there's a birthday cake.
Yep, let's let it bleed. Be careful.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something racy. You saw this in one of my short videos? Oh, we got a guest appearance here. How you doing, Sticker Kid? I thought you were in town.
Guest appearance from our buddy.
No, you gotta be more open.
Boy, I picked,
You're not even in the
I picked the
camera.
wrong time to show this. Well, I'll be careful how I show it. All right, I got corrected how this magazine's called. It's not whatever I said on the short video, Owie, it's We. 1982 adult magazine We. It's in the original mailer to protect it. It's got Linda Blair on the cover. And it's got all about Pete Best, Crying the Blues. Let's get to the right section here. Best of the Beatles, a Beatlemania, a bittersweet look back. This is one of the first times Pete Best ever tried to cash in on the Beatles' legacy. It's only a 4-page article, 6 pages, but there shows the record that you can mail away for in this mail order form of the Beatles, Silver Beatles doing Like Dreamers Do and Love of the Love.
Okay.
And like I said, this is a complete package because I got came from a man that worked for Warner Brothers. It's got the mail-in record that you got from We with Like Dreamers Do and Love of the Love, an unplayed condition. First time I've ever had this whole complete package.
Me Knox 111 said, why was George Harrison punched in the face instead of Ringo when Pete left?
And then we bought Brad.
Maybe George Harrison was he was the youngest one, and maybe they thought that they could punch him and get away with it, while the other 3
Well,
were probably afraid to punch him.
say what Brad said real quick.
Brad Parnell said he was closest to the guy swinging his fist.
Yeah, well, that's that too.
And
But George would have only been, in 1962, he would have only been 18. So he was probably the most successful to give a black eye to. Sticker kid, join the party.
there's a few comments. They said, Brad Parnell said, look who it is. Hey, sticker kid.
He's still not in.
Yeah, they're saying hi to you.
And then
Can you give them a hi? You have a joke for us, sticker time? Nope.
KRWD said, sticker teenager.
Sticker teenager, they got ya. 13 years old.
And then Moonbeam Skies said, I like the Ringo single with that blue Apple label.
Yeah, I sold that for, I think, $159 with the picture sleeve. That's a lot for a Ringo Starr single. I don't think too many Ringo Starr singles can go for over $150. That blue label, Back Off Boogaloo, one of the most valuable there is. Got this in a real nice, almost complete ticket stub to see George Harrison in 1974 at the Olympia Stadium in Detroit. You want to show that to the camera?
Oh, come on, you're supposed to be helping him.
There we go. A real nice ticket stub to see George Harrison in 1974. His voice wasn't too good, but you still saw a Beatle in concert. And that is the program. George Harrison 1974 with Ravi Shankar. Billy Preston was on this tour. Got Billy Preston with the big fake afro up there on top. There's George Harrison with right next to Ravi Shankar. All right, talking about programs, I got another one. November 15th of 1963. Right when the Beatlemania was huge in England. The silver program. And if you guys want to talk about polygram auctions, this came from Polygram Auctions right here. It says Polygram, Austria, Europe. So he sold this to somebody and I got a hold of it. It's got the program original from 1963, November 15th, and it's got the ticket stub. The Beatles at the Colston Hall in, I think it was in Bristol. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Beatles with their collarless suits they wore. Got a whole article about them. It's got an ad for their Please Please Me and With the Beatles that was just being released at that time. It even has a flyer that's glued on the top for another show at the same place of Helen Shapiro and Bobby Rydell that came from the United States. They always brought somebody from the United States to be on these tours. And it even has the searchers in here. So that's pretty unique. It has that flyer inside. But if you pull up the flyer, you see the order of that show. And you had the Vernon Girls, Frank Berry, the Brook Brothers, Jay and the Walkers. And then you had an intermission. You had the Rhythm and Blues Quartet, the Kenstrels, Frank Berry again. And the Beatles closed out the show and probably did 30 minutes, 25 minutes of 12 of their hit songs. They always pretty much ended with Twist and Shout. I bought a big collection today or yesterday. I got the two show me the Bruce Spicer books. Those two. I mostly got this collection because they had these Bruce Spicer books in it. One of the most expensive books on the Beatles besides the recording sessions that I sold last week at $4.99. The Beatles in the recording studio. But this one has no dents. It's perfect shape. Looks like it's hardly been opened, and it has no autograph from this. Most all these are autographed by Bruce Spicer, but I think this is unique because it's not autographed. Same thing with these are valuable in the slipcase. The Beatles Story on Capitol Records. These are all out of print for many years. And neither one of these are autographed either. You got part 1 on the singles and part 2 on the albums. There's a whole section on the butcher cover inside here. But also in this collection, as a bonus, I got all these Hit Parader magazines from 1970. So I'll show you these. You got from May of 1970, the Apple Story. These are all rare Hit Parader magazines. August of 1970, John and Yoko.
Who's John and Yoko? I'm just playing.
October of 1970, Paul Goes It Alone. Are all the songs, here's the questions I got here. Are all the songs by Paul McCartney alone? Yes, sir. Will they be so credited McCartney? It's a little bit daft for them to be Lennon McCartney credited, so McCartney it is. Did you enjoy working as a solo? Very much. I only had me to ask for a decision, and I agreed with me. Remember, Linda's on it too, so really it's a double act.
That's me.
But I'd say it's a solo act myself. And then you got from September, I think, of 72, George Harrison, about the Bangladesh movie. So those are pretty nice Hit Paraders that were in that collection with those books. And they also threw in as a bonus, I got the 1975 Rolling Stones tour program. This is right when Ronnie Wood joined the group.
Brad Parnell said, did you get a copy of Batman Superman's World's Finest 10 with Paul McCartney on the cover? Some are already going for $50 on eBay.
No, I'll have to look into that. Thanks, Brad. Tour of the Americas, 1975. It has like this little see-through. It's kind of a real neat program. It's got that in several places.
Is Brad the one to be in this one?
This is when Ronnie Wood just joined the group. I think Ronnie Wood's in here. These pictures must have been taken before Ronnie Wood was really in the group. Here it shows Rod Stewart and Faces. They got Ronnie Wood there. So I think this is just when he joined the group. William Everest Preston. You know, on Get Back, he was credited as the 5th Beatle. There's another one of those see-through pages that's pretty neat. Shows all the places they performed in America. That's pretty neat, that back there. The Rolling Stones Tour of America, 75. Sticker Kid, you got a joke?
Danny Goldstein said something. Danny Goldstein said, you also have George Harrison on the bottom of that Hit Parader as part of Delaney and Bonnie and Friends.
With this one?
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about this one.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Goes It Alone, and it's got Delaney, Bonnie, and Friends on the bottom. That's when George Harrison just kind of snuck on tour with them and didn't even really want to be credited. He kind of hung out in the back of the stage with Eric Clapton. Even though Eric Clapton took George Harrison's wife, those two were buddies for life.
I would never. But good for them.
All right, German pressings, Some Girls. Show your questions if we got it. Sticker! How's that going? You got a thumbs up?
Still fun painting today.
He wanted to paint my place that's being remodeled, and Sticker Kids wore out from painting, aren't you? Are you throwing things out?
Did you just throw something at me?
What were you doing?
All right, so I have a couple more of these coming. I'm buying all the factory sealed I can of the first press of Some Girls, because I think the value just going to keep going up. I want the ladies that Didn't like being on the cover. You got two different versions of it, the black and white one and the 4 different colored. It's got the hype sticker on this one for Miss You. Now I got another batch of German pressings for the Beatles, the late 70s in today.
You throw some all about you.
You got Please Please Me with -2 in the dead wax, the same cut as the Beatles. Most people that get this from me, they all say they're amazed. Somebody didn't think it was the best pressing of Please Please Me, but I think it rocks the most. And then this is the one that Polygram Auction says the best stereo pressing ever of Revolver. In 1977 on Apple Records from Germany. It's got the cutting is a A2. See if I can read this. B2. A2 B2 cutting by the Germans using all their amazing equipment that doesn't exist anymore in Germany of Revolver. Normally Revolver stereo pressings don't sound that good, but this one does. And then the famous, of course, Magical Mystery Tour with the A1 B3. Got another one of these. I bet I've sold 25 of these in the last year.
Danny Goldstein said Mysterios.
And Sgt. Pepper, 1977, ranks up in the top 5 pressings ever, audiophile pressings of the stereo mix of Sgt. Pepper. They add a little more bass. The Germans did from the master tapes at Abbey Road Studios. A little more bass from Macca. That's what drives Sgt. Pepper.
Brad Parnell said husbands-in-law George called them.
They what?
Husbands-in-law George called them.
Eric Clapton, called them husbands-in-law.
Oh, husband-in-law? Yeah. Well, George's comment was, I'd rather my wife be with Eric Clapton than somebody else out there.
Oh, hell. I would never say it. They're tweaking.
But you know, George Harrison also had an affair with another one of the Beatles' wives. Who knows the answer to that? George Harrison might have been a little bit of a horn dog.
Marine.
No.
Marine, that's the answer, Marine.
Marine Starkey.
Marine Starkey, yeah, that's correct answer.
You looked it up, but Brad already had the answer.
I didn't look it up.
Say the comments of Daniel.
Daniel Castillo said Lennon could never seem to get with Bridget.
Bridget Bardot. Yeah, he had a fascination with Bridget Bardot, and George Harrison had a fascination with Jane Mansfield.
Someone said Mo. I don't know what that means, so I'm not.
A couple other picture sleeves that are got over here. The Please Please Me, tough to get one in that black and white. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic. And this is my real nice Long and Winding Road I got from Perry Cox. With no ring wear, that's up for $170. And there's my Lady Madonna that got misplaced there on my table. Has the original fan club insert. And another great single from the 60s, Good Vibration from the Beach Boys.
Read the Daniel.
Somebody on YouTube said this is one of the all-time classic songs of all time, Good Vibrations.
This was yummy.
Ranks up in the top 5 with I Can't Get No Satisfaction and Hey Jude.
Daniel Castillo said Lennon got high because he was nervous about meeting her.
Eric Clapton did?
No, he's saying Lennon did because meeting the girl, he'd get high
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was nervous about being around her.
Bridget Bardot. He did meet her once. But he had a fascination with Bridget Bardot. Well, Paul and John, when they were young, traveled when they didn't have much money. They traveled to Paris. And they spent a week there.
Do the Brad Parnell.
Brad Parnell said, do you prefer the Let It Be version of the Long and Winding Road or the Let It Be Naked version?
I prefer the movie version. They just did a new video just for the Long and Winding Road, I think, on the Beatles YouTube channel, and it's just amazing. It's got that Phil Spector Wall of Sound added to it, and I think that's why it was a #1 song. I know Paul disagrees with that, but those strings and everything really add to the song for me.
And DJ Marino said the kid on the right of screen looks Beatles.
He's beat. You want to go in the other room now? You made a
Go back. You don't have
You,
to.
you can
You
leave.
ain't doing no good sitting there
Yeah.
doing that.
Tell everybody say hi.
You didn't do nothing.
You worked hard here in the place. You'll make an appearance again. We'll have sticker time. All right, Led Zeppelin 2. You know, I sold my Monarch pressing for $899. This is a PR pressing that I'm gonna put up tomorrow.
I read.
PR pressing of it in very good plus condition. It's got RL on the A side, and on the B side it's got RLSS, which stands for Robert Ludwig Sterling Sound.
UWU said, Paul says thanks, Mo, for Marine. Just before John says, I'd like to thank you all on behalf of the group. And
Yeah, did
myself."
you watch my short video where I played that? I played, I started off with Paul says, thanks, Mo. Then John Lennon has this comment, did we pass the addition? And then I play the part that they cut out on the Peter Jackson movie on Disney Plus, where Paul is doing his little outtake of of his get back. It's pretty unique. It's only lasted like 20 seconds. How's the Holy? You saw my reel to reel. This is the UK pressing. I sold this for $140 on eBay today.
So do the one Brad comment to go with the let it be for him.
What are you talking about? Oh. Brad Parnell said, I agree with you. It's the one time I disagree with Paul's musical opinion.
He agrees that the Phil Spector Wall of Sound what made that a #1 song.
He said left of screen.
No, that was talking about Sky because he said right and he meant left, but they're going to have to dance to it.
If you listen to a UK first press like Wolfie Baby I bought of my box set, the 2U cut, the Phil Spector Wall of Sound is just amazing on that Let It Be album. He took an album that wasn't very good, the wheels were falling off the wagon, and he made magic of it. And that's why that Let It Be album sold 4 million copies, because of Phil Spector. So give the guy credit.
Daniel Castillo said Tom Jones said he almost beat up Lennon for being sarcastic.
Yeah. Well, Bob Dylan had it. They weren't too good of friends when they were in the back of that limo either. Everybody had a hard time with the way when Lennon became sarcastic. Paul was used to it, but not the other big legends, Mick Jagger and maybe Mick was used to it, but not Bob Dylan and who'd you say?
And Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, yeah.
And Brad Parnell said Phil Spector was one weird dude, but he certainly produced some fantastic recordings.
Yeah, All Things Must Pass and Let It Be. And he did a lot of the Christmas album and things too, and the, for the Supremes, what was the song? You Keep Me Hanging On, or no, River Deep, Mountain High. Phil Spector knew what to do there when he was recording in the studio. And the Ronettes. Let's not forget the Ronettes. Alright, did I show everything? You saw my glitter box last time. I haven't sold it yet. Sticker, granddaughter hasn't broke this open and started wearing it yet, so that's a miracle. Size medium. Still sealed from 1982. It's only, what would that be? 42 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's older than my dad, I think. Mm.
We're going to talk about Dave Frazier here in a second. This is another one that came with the Ringo album today. This is a factory sealed 1975, a Metamorphosis. It's kind of got some outtakes at the time when they were just trying to milk everything that was left in the vaults for the Rolling Stones. This is an APCO, and you know that was Alan Klein. He was a master of trying to make money off the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. That's why all those bootlegs came out of Let It Be, is because of Alan Klein. All right, Dave Frazier.
Oh my gosh.
Dave Frazier bought these 3 albums. I'm gonna meet him tomorrow. He deliver this to him. A French. He's my local great buyer I have from Louisville. He bought the French contract pressing of Let It Be. Let's see what the cut is on that.
Not Jack.
It's a 3U. Some people think the 3U is the best pressing. 3U. From the mid-70s. Did you know that in 1973, Abbey Road Studios was falling apart? They had to close it for several years to renovate it. And so all the master tapes of the Beatles went to France. And that's why the Abbey Road and all these pressings that came out in France in the mid-70s are audiophile pressings, because they had the actual master tapes of the Beatles when Abbey Road was closed for renovations.
Beetle Hair said Tina Turner did River Deep.
Yeah, but the Supremes did it too. No, he is correct. My fault. My apologies. You were right. It's Tina Turner. But you know Phil Spector's the one who produced it.
And then UWU said, I used to have the Stairway to Heaven US promo 45. One side was blue. What would it be worth today? And I love the strings and choir from the long and winding road.
I have the promo of Stairway to Heaven coming from 1971, and I paid $200 for it. It's got the mono version on one side. I don't know if it's true mono, and it's got a stereo on one side, mono on the other side. I'll have that for the next stream.
Ray Cornell said, did you see the documentary Mary McCartney made about Abbey Road Studios?
Yeah, they had Elton John in there. They had the Oasis brothers, Noel and Liam. And Paul and Ringo were interviewed a lot, and they showed a lot of footage of the Beatles recording their end early, and then A Day in All You Need Is Love, when it was recorded there at Abbey Road Studios, Studio 2. And that colorized, they show in that video, that program on Disney Plus, that was colorized. It was never filmed in color. It was all black and white, but somebody spent a lot of time, Apple Studios or somebody spent a lot of time to colorize that for anthology.
Daniel Castillo said, are you going to watch the Stax documentary?
The Stax documentary? Probably not. I'm too busy focusing on the Beatles, Stones, and Led Zeppelin. It takes 14 hours of my day every day, besides working at the grocery store, so that's all I can focus on. Got to get some more audiophile pressings of Sticky Fingers, Abbey Road, the White Album, Magical Mystery Tour. All these German pressings have another batch coming because the demand is off the hook. And I even have 2 more 2014 Beatles and vinyl box sets coming in the next week.
UWU said I paid $25 for the promo Stairway to Heaven 45 in the 80s.
You paid $25?
Yep.
That's a hell of a bargain. Worth a lot more than that now.
Daniel?
All right, let me finish this. Dave Frazier is also getting these 2 strange Beatle from Romania, High Voltage, and Romania of Beatlemania. So I'm sure the Beatles never made a cent off of these pressings from Romania. So those are the 3 albums that Dave is getting tomorrow.
And then
That's my shout out to Dave Fraser.
Daniel Castillo said the blues artists always resented these British bands getting rich off their material.
Yeah, Little Richard. Well, I know you're talking about the blues artists that influenced the Rolling Stones, but Little Richard would go down saying that he taught Paul McCartney everything, and I don't think that's quite true.
And then DJ Morano said, by the way, Dino Ross and Supremes and the Four Tops also did River Deep Mountain High.
Well, so I was right. The Supremes did do it.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But I know the big Phil Spector thing was, you were correct, it was Tina Turner. But they spent so much money to produce that one single, and then it didn't sell very much, and it really... Phil Spector was riding the wave, and that he kind of really went down after that when River Deep Mountain High didn't become a big hit. He thought it was up there with Good Vibrations or Strawberry Fields or any of the great singles. I show all the new releases.
Everyone leave a like, please.
You want me to give a butcher cover? I need to get to 2,000 in 2 weeks, and we can do it.
2002 weeks, butcher cover. But not for sale, for free.
Yeah, but it'll be a tough 3-part trivia question. I'll make it the toughest one I've ever had.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper. You want to see a weird pressing of Sgt. Pepper? I got this in the Crab Orchard, Tennessee. I've sold all my other Sgt. Peppers. This looks like a Taiwan or something with a real flimsy cover. Another pressing the Beatles didn't make anything off of. And it's, haven't listened to it yet, but I'm going to put that up for sale tomorrow. Sgt. Pepper from,
I'm up to that.
it looks like it's from Peru. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a Peru pressing of Sgt. Pepper.
DJ.
Either that or Taiwan.
Someone from Japanese commented Japanese, but I can't read it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of, on my YouTube channel, I've got about 10 Japanese comments in the last week. And I don't know if they're good or bad because it doesn't translate and I don't know what they're saying.
Look, like this.
Yeah, like that. It's like, wow, I guess I'm getting a Japan audience, but I wish you could translate what you're saying.
DJ Morano said, fun fact, Phil Spector lived 10 minutes south from me. Weird, huh?
That is weird. Do you mean his big mansion where all that chaos happened and the girlfriend got killed? Is that what he's talking about?
Maybe not.
All right, I show everything. I showed the bonus photo last time. I got a Japanese white album. I don't know if I showed this, the wedding album. I don't think I did. Made in Japan. You want to talk about Japan pressing? Got all the inserts.
He said yes, that place.
Huh? You live 10 minutes from that big mansion?
Yeah.
Nobody was allowed to visit Phil Spector's mansion, and nobody was allowed to leave. It's like you went there for the weekend, you were there for years and years. I think the girlfriend was snuck out a couple times when Phil was asleep or something.
I'll be right back. Don't end it without me.
The Japan of the wedding album. Got the gatefold cover. That's John and Yoko at the press conference. Got the press. If you ever watch the video of that interview with Andy Capp and stuff, it's a pretty interesting. And Derek Taylor. What Beatles song was about Derek Taylor? There's a trivia question for you.
KRWD said today Phil would have been convicted of kidnapping.
Yeah. He kept a couple girls there he kept one of the Ronettes, I think, there for a long time, and she finally got snuck away. One of the sisters. All right, I showed about everything. Mind Games. Big release is coming out on Mind Games. I might have shown that last time. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't think you did. I don't know that. Do you agree with the Stones were Plastic Soul?
The Stones, where did Plastic Soul come from? What song on the outtake of the Beatles, at the end of it, I think it's on Anthology, does Paul say, Plastic Soul, Plastic Soul?
And DJ Marino says Ronnie Spector.
Ronnie Spector, yeah. She was the one that was trapped at Phil Spector's house. Plastic Soul, what is the outtake that Paul says that on? It's not Can't Buy Me Love. I'm thinking it's, boy, why don't I know the answer to this? Anyway, he says that Plastic Soul at the end of the song, and that's where the Rubber Soul kind of came from, the name of that title.
Daniel's, oh, you want to read it?
Yeah.
Where are we at on time?
I don't know,
We're 2:10.
yeah, we're good whenever you want to go. We're around 5 minutes.
You got about 5 more minutes to ask your questions.
Daniel Castillo said a blues art. Wait, is that the one?
Yeah.
Daniel Castillo said a blues artist said the Brits had no souls in their music.
Huh. Okay. I think they were just jealous that the British artists were making all the money off those blues songs.
And then read the
But I
next
mean,
one.
you can say all you want that the Led Zeppelin ripped off the blues, or the Rolling Stones ripped off the blues, and the Beatles did a little bit. But all three of those groups took everything to another level and made a commercial. And that's why I don't agree with that they ripped off the blues. I mean, they made.
And 70, we connect. We're back now. I don't know what happened there. I ain't never seen that happen before. It spun for a second.
All right, I guess we're back on. Sorry about the interruption. All right, I think we talked about everything I got.
Sunspots cause delay.
Let It Be, Let It Be. What do you guys say in the last 5 minutes? Did you like the Let It Be new restoration by Peter Jackson? Well, the first time I watched it, I had tears in my eyes before they got to the rooftop conference, because Paul was just shell-shocked about what was happening to the Beatles. But they sure got it together when they got to that rooftop. They put all their differences aside, and they had a great, because they knew it was the last time they were going to perform before a live audience. They gave it their all. They gave it all their soul. Like I said, Joey Malone did at the Fest for Beatle fans in Chicago. When you give it all your soul that you got, that's all we can ask. You know, Elton John did that in the last concert that he did there in England. He gave it everything he had.
So DJ Marino said the Brits brought attention to blues R&B.
Yeah, they brought attention to it, but they took it to a commercial level that had never happened before.
And then KOWD said sunspots causes delay.
Sunspots. That's what I try to tell my boss at the store, that the sunspots cause problems at our Wi-Fi at the store, and he tells me I'm crazy, but I think something is happening with the sun that's causing our Wi-Fi to mess up.
UWU, not only that, all three got ripped off, also talking about the Beatles, Stones, when you were talking about how they took from that, but they got ripped off as well.
Yeah.
KOWD says he has not watched the Let It Be yet.
You need to watch that. That's Rich, I think.
Yeah. Daniel Castillo, Paul did not seem to have chemistry with Wings like the Beatles.
No, he didn't have that chemistry. There was no doubt about it in Wings. You had to do what Paul said. He had final say on everything. Then when, was it Denny, on My Love, what was the name of the guitarist that isn't with us anymore? But anyway, when he did that little bit in the middle of My Love, and Paul, without Paul's approval, Paul wasn't going to approve it, but then he heard the song, the version of it, and he did think it added magic to it, and he left it in.
So Henry.
Henry McCullough?
Yeah.
All right, Henry McCullough.
And then Brad's the one that gave you that answer. Brad says, "I'm Down" is the track that Paul says.
Yeah, I'm
classic
Down.
song.
He does a great version of I'm Down, one of the first takes. And at the end of it, thanks for answering that right here. He goes, plastic soul. And that just stuck in Paul's mind. And I think that's where Rubber Soul came from.
Daniel Castillo, the Beatles would never have happened without Buddy Holly.
That's true. Buddy Holly paved the way for the Beatles. What song did George Harrison have a #1 in 1987? But you can hear him sing a little bit of it in the 1964 documentary, What's Happening in the USA. By the
KRWD says, "I've had a mild headache for 2 days now. The sunspots can cause headaches and other interruption in sleeping, etc. I did not know that Buddy Holly." Wow. So that's what he said. But
he didn't know that Buddy Holly influenced the Beatles?
Yeah.
That's how they got their name, Beatles and Crickets. They couldn't call themselves the Crickets, and they idolized Buddy Holly and the Crickets, so John Lennon said, let's become the Beatles with an EA to emphasize the beat.
And then Daniel said, and Buddy Holly would have never happened without Elvis.
I don't know about that. They came out at the same time.
Buddy Holly was making country until he heard Elvis, is what Daniel said.
Yeah, you might be right, but Buddy Holly and the Crickets was one of the first four-piece band that the Beatles idolized, and that's how they got their formulation of a four-piece rock and roll band.
UWU and the Everly Brothers. Talking about them too.
Yeah, I have a program, UK original program from the 1964 of the Everly Brothers, and it's signed by Phil Everly. So that's pretty neat. I have that coming in the next week.
And then Brad Parnell, I got my mind set on you.
That's the answer, Brad. Boy, you're answering them all. Got my mind set on you. If you watch the What's Happening in the USA or the Beatles' First Visit, and you listen closely, George sings that song a little bit. Got my mind set on you. So that stuck in his head in 1964 when they came to America. And then 23 years later, he recorded that, covered that song, and it became his last #1 song.
And then KRWD, that is some cool music history. Neat.
All right. I hope I entertained you a little bit. We'll be back Wednesday. Got a lot coming in. I didn't write down my purchase history, but check us out. Same bad time, same bad channel. And I need some more subscribers. You want me to give away another one of my butcher covers. Thanks a lot from Louisville, Kentucky.